Okay, welcome everybody to this session on emotional benefits of spirituality, practical application of principles of Bhagavad Gita in our daily lives. So a warm welcome to all of you. Let us start with the dedications. This is dedicated to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We are inspired by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, governing body commission member and spiritual master. Before starting any spiritual discussion, we must remember our spiritual master and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So let us start with the prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so before we get into the session, I have an opening question for all of you. So, how can we be happy? Very simple question. How to be happy? What is the qualification to become happy? So today's topic is about emotions and spirituality. So I'm asking a question to you. How do we be happy? General things. What do you think? You can put it in the chat, or you can speak.
Good health. Sir.
Good health. Okay. Healthy.
We can be happy by being grateful to all the things that is happening in our life.
Absolutely. Being grateful. Right. And Mataji is saying something. Sunita Mataji. Yes.
Don't get into others' problems.
Yeah. Not getting into others' problems. You can be happy. All right. What else?
We can be happy by living in the present and not expecting too much.
Yeah. Living in the present, not expecting much. Nice. What else?
To be satisfied with whatever we have.
To be satisfied with what we have, to be content with what we have. Okay, what else?
Not to
be in Krishna consciousness all the time.
Okay, being Krishna conscious. Okay, what else?
To expect any fruits for the work we have done.
Not to expect any fruits for what we have done. Okay, great.
Avoid desires.
Avoid desires, yeah. We covered that. Next.
Spend some time in reciting shlokas.
Okay, spend some time reciting some nice Sanskrit shlokas. Okay, fine. Okay, so let's hear it out from Lord Sri Krishna. What Krishna has to say in Bhagavad Gita. What is the prerequisite for happiness? Nasti buddhira yuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana nabhavayata shantir ashantasya kutas sukham. May I request one of you to read this translation for me, please?
One who is not connected. Yeah.
Yes.
One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, 66 shloka.
Yes. So thank you very much. Yeah, kindly mute yourself, everyone. Yes, thank you. So Lord Krishna is saying, unless our mind is situated in the divine consciousness, in Krishna consciousness, it's not connected with the Supreme, we cannot have transcendent intelligence nor a steady mind. So that means our mind will be flickering. Our mind will not be steady. If our mind will not be steady, we will not have, obviously, we won't have the peace of mind. And if we don't have peace of mind, how can there be happiness? Ashantasya kuta sukham. Have you ever thought about this? Let's say that, I may be having everything in the world. But let's say if I don't have peace of mind, then that's a big problem, is it not? So that's what this verse is all about. Okay. So today we're going to talk about one of the characters of Mahabharata who was connected with the Supreme and peaceful and not disturbed and who was very good at his mind control, and who happens to be the hero among the Pandavas, right? So, any guesses who are we going to talk about today?
Arjuna.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to talk about Arjuna today. So we'll see what all, qualities that Arjuna has. Arjuna is very focused. If he wants something, he doesn't deviate his mind. He knows what is his goal. And he stays focused on that. He doesn't get disturbed at all. And his determination is unshakable. Nobody can shake his determination, and he's persistent and consistent. Consistent delivery, consistent performance. Always he emerges as the winner, right? And he's got a positive mindset, right? He doesn't lament. And he's got so strength also. He's such a great warrior, right? He's a Kshatriya king. And with all this, he's not proud, right? He's very humble at the same time. So that is Arjuna, is it not? So we can actually relate some of his qualities with us. But of course, Arjuna excels in a lot of qualities. We'll see how he excels. But at least, we all can see Arjuna in ourselves. There is one Arjuna in us. We want to be Arjuna, right? With all these characters, the wonderful characters that Arjuna has. Right? I'll just tell you one story about how hardworking Arjuna is, right? One day, what happened is, Arjuna was eating food in the dark, right? At least in those days, in the Vedic culture, it is a recommended practice that you should have your dinner early, immediately after the sunset, as soon as possible, 7:30, not at 11 p.m. All right. We spoke about it in the previous class. Is it not? If you have food late in the night, that's going to be a problem. Okay. So Arjuna was having immediately after the sunset, but Dronacharya had given an explicit instruction saying that do not feed Arjuna in the dark. There must be a lamp for sure. Make sure. That is an explicit instruction that was given by Dronacharya for a reason. Because if Dronacharya, if Arjuna is eating in the dark, he will find out something. What happened? That day, there was a strong wind that blew off that lamp. And Arjuna continued eating. Whatever he was eating, chapati, dal, rice, this, that. He finished his plate. And he contemplated on this. And he thought, if I can finish my plate of rice and meals without any light, then why can't I practice in the night? So I think I can practice as well. So then he thought, in the morning, my teacher is teaching me archery. So in the evening, I shall practice. Double practice. Look at his studiousness and, look at his quality of hardworking to learn that skill. Right? So he's working day and night. He stopped sleeping. Right? That's why Lord Krishna calls Arjuna as Gudakesha. Gudakesha means one who has conquered sleep. So he has conquered his sleep. Right? And he's hardworking day and night. And that's how he manages to become the best student of Dronacharya. Dronacharya becomes so impressed that, he gives all his skills to Arjuna. Whatever he knew, he just gave it to Arjuna. He was so pleased with Arjuna. Right? So another story is, the way how Arjuna won Draupadi's Swayamvara. So Drupada wanted his daughter to marry Arjuna. He didn't want anybody else to marry because Drupada knew that Arjuna was very talented. So Drupada had been defeated once by Arjuna. Now, when his teacher, Dronacharya, had said that, as a Guru Dakshina, you have to defeat Drupada and bring him tied to me. So that's when, Arjuna goes and nobody is able to defeat Drupada. Only Arjuna is able to do that. And he brings him in front of Dronacharya. So Drupada is very impressed. He thinks that, if I have a daughter, she should be married with Arjuna. So that's what he makes up his mind. So when Draupadi is born and when she comes to the age of marriage, he announces a Swayamvara and a very difficult contest, very peculiar and very difficult. Nobody is able to do this. The task is this. First of all, there is a bow that has to be strung. And then a target is there. behind a rotating plate. And inside the rotating plate, there is a hole. So, first of all, that is really heavy. It's not easy to lift that bow. It's very, very heavy bow. And only with that bow, the contestant must be trying. And after lifting the bow, this has to go through that hole, exactly through that hole, and hit the target. And also it is said that, he has to see the reflection. He has to see the reflection, and he's seeing inside the water, and then he has to see the reflection and hit that. So that's like adding to the challenge. It's more difficult. Some legends say that, it was a fish and it's an eye. And some legends say it is, it's a rotating plate with a hole. Nonetheless, it was a really, really difficult and impossible task. Right? And then what happened? Karna comes. And Draupadi shouts and says, no, I cannot allow this. He's a chariot driver. I don't want to marry him. Then he goes back. He's become very angry, he just becomes very angry and just silently sits down, Karna. And then Duryodhana comes. That everybody becomes silent. Duryodhana is aiming at it, right? And leaves, he strings the bow also, and he leaves the arrow, and it goes through the hole as well, but misses the target by just an inch, just missed. And Duryodhana becomes very frustrated and throws the bow and goes back. Then at that time, Arjuna was disguised as a Brahmana. So he says, Arjuna comes, like a majestic lion, and he shouts and says, can a Brahmana fight? Can a Brahmana contest this? He says, of course, yeah, why not? Drupada says, yes, possible, allowed. Then Arjuna takes it very effortlessly, strings it, and leaves the arrow. That's it, hits the target. So this is the kind of focus, the skill that Arjuna has. Right? This is the kind of practice that Arjuna did. So Arjuna did not become Arjuna without, the practice behind him. Right? So targeted, so focused, so intelligent, so consistent, and such a nice, wonderful warrior Arjuna was. And he was such a great warrior that, one day he goes to the Himalayas to worship Lord Shiva for getting the Pashupatastra upon the advice of his elder brother, Yudhishthir Maharaj. So he's there and he's meditating. And then he sees that there is a demon who comes in the form of a wild boar to attack Arjuna. So at that time, what does Arjuna do? He will take up his bow and take an arrow, and immediately he's aiming at that bow, at that boar. At the same time, there is a hunter who comes, right? This hunter is Lord Shiva himself. So Lord Shiva comes as a hunter there, and he is also aiming at the same boar, and he shouts, do not leave your arrow. This boar is mine. But Arjuna doesn't care, just leaves the bow, and the arrow will go. And at the same time, Lord Shiva also leaves. Both of the arrows hit the target at the same time. And now Arjuna becomes furious. He says, how dare you do this? I was aiming at this first, and you have aimed at it. You are not following the rules of hunting. So for this, I shall punish you with death. Then he says, no, let us see who is going to punish whom with death. Come fight with me. Then Lord Shiva, who is in the form of a hunter, throws a challenge at Arjuna, come fight with me. Then Arjuna is ready to fight. And then there is so many arrows that, they shoot at each other. And then they fight with the sword. They fight in different ways. They wrestle. And ultimately, Arjuna, fights so well that, Lord Shiva becomes very pleased. And he stops the war. And he comes in front of Arjuna and says, very well done. I'm really, really proud of you. Amazing skill. So Lord Shiva is, very wonderfully, pleased with the skill of Arjuna. Being pleased with the skill, he says, okay, ask me what you want. He says, I want all the astras of the demigods, devatas. Yes, surely you will get it. Go to the Indraloka and collect all the astras. Now I am giving you the Pashupatastra, the most powerful Pashupatastra. Take it. And he gives it. Right? And Arjuna happens to visit the heavens. He goes on a chariot that is sent by Indra himself. Indra is his father, right? And he rides that chariot and he goes to the heavenly planets. And he stays there for 5 years. 5 years in the heavenly planets, and he's trained with singing and dancing by Chitrasena. Now, one day, Indra calls Chitrasena and he says, I have seen that Arjuna is looking at Urvashi. I think you should send Urvashi to Arjuna. He's glancing at her in a sensual way. So I think you should do that. Should train him in that art also. Then Chitrasena goes to Urvashi and says that, Arjuna has given, Indra has given an order that he wants you to spend a night with Arjuna. So you please go. He says to Urvashi. And Urvashi, after hearing all the characteristics of Arjuna, she becomes very happy. And she's affected by Cupid. And she's very happy. And, she decorates herself very nicely and goes to Arjuna's abode, to his palace. Now, Arjuna welcomes her and says, okay, please come, please come. And he says, she expresses her desire. That, this is what is my desire. Then Arjuna closes his ears in shame. And he says, I cannot even imagine that. You are like my mother. You are just like Kunti Devi for me. Because you are the wife of my ancestors also, Pururava. You have been, wife of my ancestor. That is why I was looking at you like a mother of my dynasty. Not in this sense. But Urvashi argues, no, these human morals are not applicable in this place. This is heaven. Here it is not applicable. Don't worry, I will not be incurring any sin by doing this. This is normal. I go with the father and sons and grandsons and I still don't get sin. This is heavenly planets. This is how it works here. Arjuna says, no, I'm sorry. You are my mother and I cannot imagine you in any other way. You are like Sachi Devi for me. You are like a wife of superior for me. I cannot imagine. I cannot do this. I'm so sorry. And then Urvashi becomes very angry and she curses him. You become a eunuch. You will lose your manliness. Right? So then Arjuna, he feels a little bit disappointed and he goes to Indra. And Indra says, don't worry. That's okay. This will be useful for you when you go incognito. That is Ajñatavasa. Last 1 year. It will be helpful for you to become a dancer to train the princess. So at that time, this boon will be useful. Don't worry, just go. So from this incident, we can see how self-controlled Arjuna was. Now, being offered by such a celestial woman herself, Arjuna is restraining his senses. We can imagine how moral he was and how self-restrained he was. This was Arjuna. And we all know this beautiful story where just before Kurukshetra war started, Krishna gives an offer to Pandavas and Kauravas. I am not fighting this war, right? But I give you a choice. You can either take my service as a chariot driver. I will be ready to work as a chariot driver for you. Or you can take one Akshavani Sena of my Narayani Sena. You choose. So Duryodhana already had 11 Akshavanis of Sena. Pandavas had 6 Akshavani of Sena so far. So 7. So Duryodhana had 10. And Pandavas had 7. So Duryodhana thought one more and I'll become 11. So 11 and 7. Calculate 11 and 7. The chances of winning are definitely high. Yeah, so I will ask for the army. That was the calculation running in Duryodhana's mind. Right, so both of them go to Krishna's palace. Krishna was having his afternoon nap. Right? And afternoon nap, quick nap. Right? It's called Vamakukshi. After a lot of food, you have a short nap for 20 minutes or 15 minutes and you'll feel refreshed. Right? So he was having his nap. First, Duryodhana comes into the palace. And then he thinks, okay, there is a seat near his legs. There is a seat here near his head. Why should I sit near the feet of this person? He's younger to me. I will sit near the face. I am royal person. He thinks like that. And he's sitting near the face. And Arjuna, as humble as he is, he knows that, the supreme position of Lord Krishna, and he comes near the feet of Krishna. And he's waiting there. And when Krishna wakes up, he opens his eyes, he sees Arjuna first and says, "Oh, my dear Arjuna, you have come here. Okay, please ask me what you want." Then Duryodhana objects. "Excuse me, I came first." But Krishna says, "I'm so sorry. You might have come first, but I've seen Arjuna first, so I'm going to ask him only." Then Duryodhana becomes very disappointed. Then Arjuna says, "Dear Lord, please become my chariot driver." Then Duryodhana laughs. "Ha ha, very good. What a fool." Right? So Duryodhana becomes very happy. "Okay, then, okay, Krishna, then one Akshawani of your Narayana Sena is mine. Deal done. Thank you." And Duryodhana leaves. Right? So what is the choice that Arjuna has made? Arjuna has chosen Krishna. So Krishna will be his mentor, his guide, right? And his chariot driver and the master strategist. Ultimately, we all know the consequence of Kurukshetra war. Who won the war? It was possible with the help of Krishna that, Arjuna was able to do it. So Arjuna chose Krishna. That is very important here. So now let us see what happens in the Kurukshetra war. Now the war began. So the war began, and both the sides of Kauravas and Pandavas have assembled on the war field. And then both of the parties have blown their conch shells. Like the conch shells are blown. Right? Now, what happened? At this point of time, what happens is, Arjuna asks Krishna, "Can you take me in between the armies, please? Can you take me in between the armies?" So he says, "Okay, fine. All right." Then Krishna, tactfully drives his chariot and takes it exactly in between the armies and exactly in front of Dronacharya and Bhishmacharya, Bhishma Pitamaha, Bhishma Deva and Dronacharya. Exactly in front of that, he stops the chariot, right? So then Arjuna looks at his teacher, Dronacharya. He looks at Bhishma Deva, and he becomes, very depressed. Why am I fighting this war? I don't want to fight this war. This is too much. I can't fight this. Now, what are the symptoms that he develops? Let's just see what the symptoms that he develops. Right. So his body starts to quiver. His body is shaking. Sometimes it is said as an inauspicious sign, especially on the left-hand side. If the body limbs are quivering for a man, it is said to be inauspicious omen, right? So on the right-hand side for a woman, it's said to be inauspicious. So it's an inauspicious sign. Mouth is drying up. So for example, if I ask you to suddenly talk in front of a huge assembly on a topic that you're not prepared, then, you have the mic with you, everybody is watching and you're not prepared. And then, your mouth will go dry, right? You have experienced this. Mouth will go dry. You'll feel, where is the water? I can't speak a single word now in front of all of these people. The whole body was trembling, shaking out of emotion. And his hairs are standing on the end. Right? And his favorite Gandiva bow is slipping from his hands. And his skin is burning. And he's unable to stand here any longer. And Arjuna is saying, "I'm forgetting myself. I'm forgetting who I am, why I'm here." And my mind is reeling. He's completely feeling as if, this feeling is, reeling. All his mind is reeling. He's not able to imagine anything. And he's seeing only causes of misfortune. So then he talks to Lord Krishna and says, "Krishna, I'm sorry, I cannot fight this war. I can't fight this war. Whom are you asking me to fight with? With my teacher. That will cause me sin. He's my teacher. Do you fight with your teacher?" Do you want me to kill all my relatives? If I kill all my relatives, what will happen to all the widows? All the wives of these people, they're all my relatives as well. So I'll cause so much of suffering for everybody. I feel a lot of compassion for them. I don't want to fight this war. And still, I'm so confused also. I don't know if I should actually fight or I should not fight. Sometimes I think maybe I should fight because I should take revenge on Duryodhana. He has insulted my wife, Draupadi. For that, I have to take revenge, right? And sometimes I feel, come on, what is there? If you look at the big picture, I think the best quality, the best religious principle is to be tolerant, is to forgive. Let's forgive and forget. It's okay if I don't get that property. That's all right. I'll just go and beg and get some food and I'll eat. I'll subsist on begging. What is the difficulty? I'll do some tapasya. I've been already used to this. I've done tapasya multiple times. And we have also, disguised as Brahmanas previously. So it's not difficult for me. Let me do that. Again, he switches his mind and thinks, no, I have to fight. I am a warrior. I'm supposed to fight. Everybody is expecting me to fight. Tomorrow everybody is going to talk about me. Arjuna has not fought the war. He ran away from the war. People will talk very badly about this. No, I must fight. So he's so confused and perplexed. He doesn't know what to do. So what is happening in today's context, if you have to understand, it's the conflict of interest, right? His interest is that, nobody should die because he has got his friends, family, those people who are his grandfathers or uncles, etc., on the other side. He doesn't want to see them die. He has got all his friends. No, he doesn't want to kill them, right? That's conflict of interest. And there's a family relationship problem here. So he's not able to come to terms with his cousin brother who's not ready to listen. He's not ready to budge. They have, usurped the kingdom of Pandavas and they've insulted them multiple times. There's a family conflict that's going on. And major thing is like the moral conflict that's getting inside his head. Right? So there's a moral conflict that's getting inside his, should I be fighting or should I be not fighting? Should I be fighting or should I not fighting? So what is correct? What is dharma? What is adharma? If I fight, is that dharma? Or if I leave them, it is dharma. So he's confused, doesn't know what to do. Now we'll come to present day context. Right? So we are coming now fast forward 5,000 years, 2022. Now we are here. So what are today's problems? We will see how Arjuna overcame all these problems later. But now let's see what are the present day problems, right? So I would like to ask you, so the first problem that I've listed here, the most common reasons for mental problems as social media. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on social media? So is it like, what are the pros and cons? Like, I want you to comment on that. Any views, right? What do you think about social media in general, right? So, yeah. Yes.
It's all about.
It's a very good technology, but
It's good technology. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare
But
Krishna. Yes.
how we use it, it is.
Yeah, it
is
depends
left to
upon
us.
how we use it, like the knife, how you use it, right? Yeah. Okay. Next.
Now,
Yes.
if we use it for learning Bhagavad Gita and it's nothing like that. It's the most wonderful thing that's happening. Now,
Right.
Guru Prabhuji is coming to our house every day and teaching us this is something very special. And of course, it can drag away to attract so many other things, the colorful screens, the other so many things. If we should know how to control our mind, to channelize our mind to do the good things.
Sure.
Otherwise, you
yes.
can go haywire.
Thank you, Mataji. Abhay sir, you wanted to say something?
Yes. It is excellent way of communication.
Absolutely. Thanks to the technology, today we are all here together, or else it would not have been possible. Some of you are from Maharashtra, some of them from the south, some from the north. I don't know, some maybe from out of India also. Thank you. What else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
On the one hand, it is the most useful thing what we can use in our daily life, but at the other hand, it's the most distracting thing which we can have in our life.
Can you elaborate? How is it distracting?
as if I just switch on to Insta, and there is an ad. If I see one ad, they related ads keep on coming, reels keep on coming. I just keep on swiping it. So waste of time, unnecessary things I'm going on seeing, and that all is fed into my not in the absolute mind, but into my subconscious mind. So however, I don't want to think about it. Next time, whenever I open Insta, I feel like just I should go through it.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Adding to that, Namata, this thing that it's more about the sense gratification. Excuse me. So you are using your senses in a wrong way, and as you get addicted, so you are not using senses in a proper way. And another view is that people have the right to write RIGHT and WRIT, right to write anything on the social media, which suppose if it can be good, it can be bad. So that will make other people morality down, so that seeing that they'll get disturbed. That's my viewpoint. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. So I just want to add some points. Anyone here? Pawan, yeah, you want to say something? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, hi, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sridhara.
Hare Krishna.
So yeah, it might be start point of a kind of jealousy or something like that. I mean, you know me very well, and we started our careers together. So I think many people tend to distract themselves by seeing others' lives, and I mean, at home or at office or at anywhere, workplace or friendships. I tend to see many people getting diverted with all these other distractions rather than specifically using it to single purpose of their self motivation or something like that. More than motivation, it's like mostly like, for example, it's in a LinkedIn. If someone posted like he got a promotion, many people I saw like, why can't I get? Or like, why did he switch the job or something like that?
Yeah.
I mean,
so yeah, you're saying like, natural envy is there inside human beings.
correct. Yeah, that
is
is tapping in. Social media is tapping in that natural envy actually, rather than till 2010, 11. It's like kind of show. It won't be like this much big, but now we are evidently seeing it in many people. Actually.
Yeah. So is it something to do with the algorithms that they are writing in the social media?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if there are like, I mean, the culture also is steadily diverting towards other areas of religious activities or something like that, which triggers not only one side of the coin, but many other people will get triggered with it. I mean, many people, many diversities will get collided due to those algorithms actually internally. So whatever we shouldn't see.
Yeah.
Sorry, whatever it is, we have all kinds like sattvic, rajasic, tamasic kind of things available in the media. It is us, we have to choose. We have to choose the useful sattvic ones.
That's true. But yeah, just I want to bring out the point here that, this social media.
Won't allow that.
Yeah. So the algorithm is, they know Bhagavad Gita very nicely, actually. So they know how to, so they know our mind very nicely, better than, so they are playing with our competitive spirit. And there's a lot of mob violences, reported because of social media. And there have been a lot of cases of depression on Facebook, etc. And Facebook themselves knew, it seems, that, there's a lot of people who are getting depressed by comparing themselves with others. And despite
they are having a psychological treatment thing in the Facebook, people. They are conducting treatment, psychological treatment, Prabhuji, for people who are getting into trouble with Facebook and getting into depression. So they know that. And I think from 8 to 10 years back itself, I read an article in the paper that they are running a depression clinic in somewhere in US.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Right. Hare Krishna. So, I mean, like, yeah, while social media is definitely a very great boon, it's supposed to be, I mean, it all started, it was one of the time person of the year. For example, instead of a person, Facebook made it as a time person of the year also once. It was the best way to share news. It was all good, but then slowly people started to tweak the algorithms to such an extent that it becomes really a distraction if you go to those websites. Actually, more than any benefit, it's like I have to control my mind. All the time I should be on my guard that no, I don't want to get distracted. I don't want to get distracted. Something like that, right? So they are popping up so many suggestions into us and making us lose time. So especially the youngsters get a lot of hit because of this. They're losing time, right? They're spending time on Instagram, Facebook, hours together. They're spending a lot of the quality time is gone in that. So all that is there. The second thing that we said here is like some extra financial commitments is one point that we have listed here, is one of the reasons as per our research that causes mental problems. So what happens is, in a competitive environment, like it's natural, a lot of people, for example, especially when we talk about the farmers, they tend to take loans, and when the crop is gone and when they're not able to repay the loan, right, what happens is the debtors, they will come and they will humiliate these people that, you are good for nothing. So these people feel very bad that they're not able to do anything about it. So there is already a debt, and this debt, it's a compound interest and it's growing, right? So, and they feel very bad about it, and they will, they tend to hang themselves, or they suicide. This is a kind of one side of the story, where or if say, let's say because of recession, people are losing jobs, and there is some kind of a loan or loss of a person, suddenly person unexpectedly passes away, and the entire loan is a problem, and it's causing a lot of mental stress. This mind is like elastic, what do you say, a rubber band. If you just stretch it, at one point it snaps, right? So how much can we stretch, right? So that's also one of the points that we have put here. So failure in relationships is causing a lot of mental tension, right? So failure in relationships, like it all begins, we have all seen these movies, right, of our youngsters falling in love, and they fall in love and they think that's the most important thing in life. And when things don't go in their way, they're ready to do anything, right? They just think that it's the end of life, right? So they're ready to even die or suicide, or they get be depressed first, because of these breakups also, the breakup culture, and that's between the teenagers and youngsters, who are falling in love, breaking up. That's one side of it. But apart from that, also, like even among the married people, there is a lot of stress and tension among the spouses, spouse, husband and wife, husband not taking care of the wife properly, not able to give some quality time, or wife is not able to take care of the husband properly, or both of them not able to take care of their elders properly or their children properly, and children are getting depressed, or these husband and wife are fighting, and that's causing a lot of problem on the young minds, like children, right? So this is one of the reasons. Yeah. And work related stress. Yeah. Would anybody want to add something, to whatever you feel free to add, please? Yeah. If you want to comment something, it's like interactive.
Hare Krishna,
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Yes.
As you said, the spouses, like with connected to the media, lot of things, as you said, that Maya thing, lot of latest gadgets, this, that, and all comes up. And very often, some people get it, and then, the friend circle, they'll say, oh, you didn't get it, I have got this, or this kind of, competition, even between the women. I see a lot of women doing this only. What the latest crockery is required in the house, the latest whatever items in the kitchen or in the house is all required because somebody else is having. So they are all getting exposed through media only, of course. And in fact, very funnily, I am still made fun of, and I wash my clothes with my hands. People say, you haven't washed your clothes, you wash it, and you have to put it in the machine only. No, I don't. I wash it with my hands. Then they say, you are washing with your hands? Oh, how is that possible? This is what they're asking. But I don't need to wash with machine, you need to load it up. And I don't feel that I should, as long as I can, I would like to wash my clothes with my hands. Good exercise for me. I do all my housework. People still look down upon me because they think that I am little lower because I do all the housework myself. And I'm not getting into all this Maya stuff, but I'm at the age of this, 58, 60 also. All women are still in that, clutches of Maya. They want to always get this, get that, whatever is the latest in the, even if you go the pressure cooker, I'm now against pressure cooker, but whatever latest pressure cooker comes, they want it in the house. And they ask me, have you not got it? No, I said, no, I've got new mud pots. 10 years back, I read about Puri Jagannath, and I wanted to get mud pots, and I got my new mud pots also. And I'm cooking that. I'm happy with it. People are thinking, what can you do? You take so long in cooking, and you don't have time for so many other things. You don't come for this party, that party. I'm not interested. I'm interested in cooking my food healthily and serving it to God and my husband and my family. That's it. This is how it's going on. Sorry, it's become a little long. Hare Krishna.
No problem. Thank you, Mataji. Very wonderful perspective that you added. Thank you. So yeah, like, on the e-commerce websites also, they suggest that, if you give, you're going to get some 500 rupees off, take this credit card. Then we get the credit card. After getting the credit card, we spend that, 40,000 rupees. Yeah, credit is there. Right. And then later I have to repay it also. No, that's another problem. So problem after problem after problem, there's stress and work-related stress. Right. The commute is itself so long. People have to, of course, thanks to COVID, a lot of work from home, at least for the software engineers. But those who need to be physically there, they have to travel, right? So it's difficult to afford a house nearby the office. It's not possible. So we have to commute, 2 hours going, 2 hours coming, and 11 hours in the office. So 11 plus 2 plus 2, how many hours? 15 hours on the road. On Saturdays also sometimes can be Sundays also, becomes very, very stressful. That's another stress. So we cannot avoid. And loss of loved ones. So what to talk about it? So, we never expect that to happen, right? We always think, my father, my mother, this is my wife, this is my husband, and these are my children. They'll be always with me. Why? They're healthy. They're quite fit. And suddenly something, untoward happens and they're suddenly gone. And we just cannot digest it. Just can't digest it. And we can't accept that fact. And, it's always haunting. And, so many people who are like, took almost like 1 year to recover or more than that, sleeping the entire 1 year, feeling very bad, right? Yeah. So, yes. Yeah. So Tarun Prabhu has one idea here. Hare Krishna, nowadays VR technology is getting popular. Another latest gadget. This is my first day in the meeting, so I don't know how to start. No problem. Thank you. Thanks for adding. Yeah, VR is getting very popular. Virtual reality. Yeah. So I was talking about different problems that we are surrounded with. Okay. So like one problem is like the loss of loved ones. We don't know how to handle it. Especially younger people, it becomes more difficult. Even the elderly people also, they cannot handle it. If spouse is passing away, they don't know how to spend their time. And very often it happens that, when the spouse is, passes away, the husband, the other person also will die in depression or in some kind of separation kind of feeling that happens. Right. So our loss of children. So all these things are there. Right. This is life. And the propaganda of the mass media, thanks to the newspaper. So every day morning, we are addicted to the newspaper. We want to open the newspaper to see some nice news. And as soon as we open, we'll see such a depressing, shocking, sensational news, which we don't want to read, but still we will read. There's no choice. They are trying to make it very sensational so that, they have TRP, so that, we spend time on their channels, and we are consuming this content continuously, day after day, day after day, day after day. So what happens? Consuming negativity continuously. What do? There's no escape. We want to read the news. But then in that, he will put this news, right? Some kind of very sensational news, some kind of distortion, etc. So here are some pictures or some news articles. Social media is linked to decline in mental health. So it is a study which has been made by MIT Sloan School of Management, where they've come to some kind of a link. But that, the more we are using social media, we're becoming more and more dumb, right? Spending time on social media. And 54% of student loan borrowers say that their mental health issues like anxiety and depression are directly related to their debt. So especially the young children, especially they have education loans on their head, because the education system, everything is expensive. Not everything is so easy, right? So the bachelor degree, the master's degree, what to talk about MBBS, etc. It's like very expensive, not at all, very, very difficult. So if you study in the in the abroad. It almost takes like 5 years to 10 years to clear those loans, minimum 5 to 10 years. That's like minimum, I'm saying. So these young minds are not prepared for that, but there's no other choice as well, right? There is this burden. They have to study. There's no other choice as well. If they have to make a good career, they have to study. But their debt is like taking a toll on their head. Failure in relationships. We see that, the number of divorces are increasing day after day. Filed by professionals in the last 1 year, 50 to 60% rise, especially from the cities. Right? Changes in depression following divorce. Divorce has become a kind of a fashioning trend now. But everybody wants to take divorce. Love at first sight, divorce at first fight. People want to just separate. So that's the option. When option is available, why don't we just use that option? I don't like you, you don't like me. Let me be peaceful, happy myself. You be peaceful yourself. But this takes a toll on the children, and it takes a toll on themselves also. It increases their depression, their loneliness, the feeling of solitude or feeling of guilt. All these things come, but then they are not able to live together peacefully. That's also there. Right? So, and adding to all this, the worst part is like India is ranking 136th in the UN World Happiness Report. 136. How many countries are there? Like, is it a really good number that we can be proud of? So it's like very bad, right? Not at all a good number.
195.
Huh?
195 countries.
195 countries and 136 rank. No, just like we want our children to be in the first 3 ranks, right? We say first rank, second rank, or okay, maximum first 10 ranks. So here in 136th rank and 196 countries, that's our happiness index of the entire nation. So what's going on? What is common among all these problems? What is it one thing that we can say that, this is maybe the root cause of all these kind of problems? So what is that? What do you think? Now, if you have to find a root cause for all these problems, if we can address that root cause, root source, everything is solved. That kind of thing. Can you maybe just tell your opinion? What do you think it is?
Uncontrolled mind.
We have lots of desires.
I want to say something. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Excessive desire or desire to have more and more. That is the main problem. So you are not satisfied at any level. If you satisfied at some level, you can be the peace of mind is possible for you. But you are asking more and more and more. You never get satisfied and never you become happy.
Yes. Thank you.
Always finding something which we do not have and hankering after that.
Yeah.
Greed and need. Endless need and desires.
Endless needs, endless desires, and not being satisfied. Yes, uncontrolled mind. Right, all these are the problems. Very nicely put up. Yes,
Prabhuji. Being illusion also, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Illusion also. Can you explain?
Being illusion also.
Can you explain elaborate that little bit?
It's like anything and everything which is not there, Prabhuji. I mean, it's difficult to give with one particular example. So you can you just see something which is not there and you imagine that it is there and you want for it. I mean, as more other Prabhus and Mataji says that need for more, but in this case, people try to imagine which is not there. In fact, in one of the sloka also, you had explained that reflection of the tree and everything. Like that, seeing that and people imagine that, yeah, this is there, I want it. But actually, it won't be there. That is also causing one of the problems. That is my perception, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Sure. Nice. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So yeah, we've heard so many nice perspectives. Yeah. Anybody else wants to say something? So we've seen so many perspectives here. So let's see. One thing is Bhagavad Gita addresses the root cause of all these problems. That is for sure. So from time immemorial, Bhagavad Gita is a textbook which has stood the test of the time. So it's spoken 5,000 years ago. The Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He did not speak on a sitting chair and they were not having some kind of a time pass discussion. It was on the battlefield that, Lord Krishna spoke about Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. And Arjuna was exactly having a lot of problems, emotional issues. Right? And Krishna addresses all these problems in Bhagavad Gita. So this Bhagavad Gita, we may think that, okay, this is only 5,000 years old, right? No, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam. And he says, I have given this Bhagavad Gita to Sun God. So when was Sun coming into existence? So millions of years ago, this Bhagavad Gita knowledge was there. Just because the disciplic succession got broken in between, Krishna speaks again to Arjuna. He says, because the disciplic succession got broken, I'm speaking this again. But this knowledge is avyayam. It's always there. So we have to make advantage of this Bhagavad Gita textbook because it has got all the problems, all the solutions, everything is addressed in that. Right? So common among all these problems, of course, this is not the only thing, but one of the important thing that we thought, we'll put it here, the uncontrolled mind. So this mind, we have to mind our mind, right? Everything is there in the mind, right? So it's like, if we can control our mind, then we can really control our senses and everything just comes to control. But if we actually lose control of that mind, we go to the control of the mind. Right? This is a verse from Bhagavad Gita. Says, Bandhuratma nanastasya yenatmaivatmana jitaha anatmanastu shatrutve varte tatmaiva shatruvat. Can anybody volunteer to read this translation, please?
For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his very mind will be the greatest enemy. Bhagavad Gita 6.6.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So, mind is our best friend if we conquer it. If we do not spend enough time to conquer it, it will become our greatest enemy. Right? So the perfect example for that is Ravana and Vibhishana. Right? So they are both brothers. They are born to the same father and same mother. Right? But they are having different nature. Right? What is the nature? Ravana did not work on his mind. He had an uncontrolled mind. And he did not control his mind. Because he did not control his mind was prompting all the wrong things. Like, despite Marichi suggesting him not to kidnap Sita, he went ahead and kidnapped Sita. And the consequence was all his dynasty, entire kingdom, everything had to go, including his life. While Vibhishana on the other side, he controlled his mind. And even in very critical situation also, he knew the difference between what is right and what is wrong. And he could surrender to the Lord's feet. And he was protected. And he still remained to be on the side of the virtue or dharma. And he also became the king. Of course, he did not want to become the king. He just wanted to be on the right side. It's not that, he wanted to become the king. That's why he did, traded his brother. It's not like that, right? So he was a noble-minded person. He knew that this is wrong. This should not be done. So he tried to tell Ravana multiple times, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Ravana is not right to hear. Right? So that is what it is, right? Mind is the cause for everything. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayu. Bandhaya vishaya sango muktyai nirvishayam manaha. Anyone can volunteer, please, for this verse translation.
Oh, yes. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
For man, mind, the cause of bondage and mind is the cause of liberation. Mind absorbed in sense objects is the cause of sense objects is the, I think I slipped the line, cause of bondage, and mind detached from the sense, detached from sense objects is the cause of liberation. I think I didn't read it so well, Prabhuji.
No, that's all right. Thank you. No
because
problem.
I'm zooming it and reading because I with my vision problem. Sorry.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Hare
So mind is the cause of bondage. Mind is the cause of liberation as well. So if we are absorbed in sense objects, it will cause bondage. If it detached from the sense objects, it causes liberation. This is said in the Amrita Bindu Upanishad. Right? Such an important statement. So mind is really, really so strong. It's not easy to control this mind. In Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says to Krishna, the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, oh Krishna. And to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind. You see in the picture, there's a wind that's blowing. Right? It's like a huge wind, that's like completely bending a tree. Now the tree is about to snap now. So even you can control this wind, but it's not possible to control our mind. Mind is very strong. So this is a declaration of Arjuna. Arjuna, we have seen Arjuna, right? How controlled he is, how self-controlled he is, how powerful, how skilled, and how talented we saw. Right? He is himself admitting to Lord Krishna that mind is very difficult to control. And what we reap is what we sow. If you sow a mango tree, mango seed, you'll get a mango tree, isn't it? So whatever fruit that you're putting, or whatever seed you're putting, that is what we are going to get. And what are we sowing? So these kind of Bollywood dancers, Dance India, Dance Big Boss, PUBG, games, mobile phone. No, this is the kind of, if we give this kind of, if we spend all our time in this kind of culture, in illusion, in spending all this kind of cultureless kind of shows, and doing all this, ultimately, what will be the result? Will our mind be in our control? It will cause a havoc. Don't you think so?
It will become a monkey.
It becomes very difficult. Becomes very difficult. And these content providers, they just want entertainment. That's it. They just want to entertain us. Entertainment is good. I don't say entertainment is bad. Movies are good. I'm not saying don't watch movies. Movies are good. The content of the movies is what I'm saying is bad. No, let them give good content. No, everything they can give entertaining and educational and good content as well. It's not true that only immoral content is entertaining. No, I don't think we have fallen to such a state. There is so much of content that we can create, which is moral, which has a nice things to say, and still very entertaining. That kind of movies, let them create. Let them show that kind of shows. Why should they show some kind of shows which is encouraging, more and more towards atheism or irreligiousness? Why should they promote this kind of or a kind of a overly sexual society? Why should we kind of bring that? Right. So now let's talk about Arjuna. Coming back to Arjuna, Arjuna was very depressed, right? When he spoke to Krishna, this was his position, right? And Arjuna heard Bhagavad Gita, right? He hears the entire Bhagavad Gita, 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita. He asks all his questions. Krishna clears all his answers, and all his doubts are cleared. Everything. Very nicely, Krishna explains chapter after chapter after chapter. Starting with chapter 1 is where Arjuna is illusion. In the chapter 2, there are some questions. Chapter 3, Karma Yoga. Chapter 4, transcendental knowledge. Chapter 5, action in Krishna consciousness. Chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga. Chapter 7, knowledge of the absolute. Chapter 8, attaining the absolute. Chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge. Like that, it goes on. The universal form and the devotional service and nature and consciousness, right? And the 3 modes of material nature. And he explains everything one by one. And Arjuna understands it. He understands, why he has to fight. The question that needs to be always answered is why. And the great leaders, they to inspire, what they do is they just answer the question why. So if the why part is solved, people will, they will figure it out how to do it. You don't have to say how to do it. You just have to say why you have to do it. So Lord Krishna cleared that part. Why you have to fight. What is the purpose of your life? Why you are doing this? Why are you here? That part becomes clear. Everything becomes clear. Then, we'll get the mental strength from within. And Arjuna is now ready to fight. So towards the end, in the last 18th chapter, Arjuna says, Nashto mohaha smritir labdva tvat prasadat maya achyuta. Now all my illusion is gone. Smritir labdva. I have got all my intelligence back. By your mercy, oh dear Lord Krishna, I have got my intelligence now. Now I shall fight. You tell me where I should put my arrows. So here in this picture, we can see Krishna showing direction, telling Arjuna, now come on, fight. This is whom you have to target next. And how was Arjuna before Bhagavad Gita, and how is Arjuna after Bhagavad Gita, and how was it possible? It was possible by choosing Lord Krishna as the mentor, by hearing to his instructions. So by hearing the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, by taking them in our life and by following them, our life becomes successful. And we will have so much of mental strength and courage to follow and fight out all the kind of adversities that we can get. Correct? So here is a case study of how God consciousness can transform the lowest people in the society to the highest moral standards. So this is the story of hippies. Hippie culture started in the United States in the 1960s. And these hippies are those youngsters who have given up every kind of societal cultures and norms. So they don't believe in marriage. They don't believe in anything. They don't believe in the government also. So they will be doing unrestrained, unrestricted intoxication, drugs, and illicit relationships. And they don't even believe in the basic kind of traits of humanity also. They almost live like animals. This is a hippie culture that started in the 1960s in the United States. So that's when, Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, went to the USA in 1965, and he could transform these people to the picture you are seeing on the right. To pure Vaishnavas who are following cleanliness, all the regulative principles, very controlled, following all the religious principles. That is the kind of transformation. And they're so happy also, you can see that. And of course, no intoxication, no illicit relationships, and nothing of that sort. No, they are completely adopting Indian culture and Vedic culture and living a peaceful and a happy life. You've seen so many examples like that. So this is a practical demonstration of what I'm trying to say in this presentation. Right, the first verse of Krishna where he said, Nasti buddhir ayuktasya nachayuktasya bhavana, nabhavayata shanti ashantasya kutas sukham. For the one who is not united with the Supreme, for such a person, there cannot be any peace of mind. Without peace of mind, there cannot be any kind of happiness. So we can try to find happiness everywhere in the world, but we will not be able to find it anywhere. We have to find it in the right place. So basically, if we have to cure a disease, this is in the traditional Ayurvedic medicine, there's a lot of stress on diet along with the medicine. Right? There's a funny quote that says in Ayurveda that if you do not follow the diet, you don't need a medicine. If you follow the diet, you don't need a medicine. Can anybody try to guess what it means? If you follow the diet, you don't need a medicine. If you don't follow the diet, then also you don't need a medicine. What does that mean?
If you follow the diet, then everything will be fine, and so you don't need any medicine. And don't follow the diet, you will die soon, and so there is no
really?
medicine.
Okay. Okay, you almost close. Anybody else want to try?
If you don't follow the diet, even the medicine that you are going to take will not work, because diet is the primary thing.
Absolutely. It's waste, right? So you're not following the diet and you're taking the medicines. You go on taking the medicines, like for example, maybe you're taking a course of antibiotics and you're eating an ice cream. What will happen? Then the course will have to increase, extend for another week. Like the disease will not stop. So diet is very important. Medicine is also important. So what is the medicine and what is the diet? That is recommended by Srila Prabhupada. That is recommended by Bhagavad Gita. Or let's see that. So the diet is Krishna Prasada. Right? Krishna Prasada means, whatever you eat, right, you offer it to Krishna. Right? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, offer it to me. Whatever you want to eat, whatever you earn, whatever you eat, offer it to me. Right? Karishye vachana. So he says, yat karosi yat juhosi yat tapasyasi kaunteya kurushya mad arpanam. He says, offer it to me. So whatever food that we prepare, sattvic food, Vegetarian, sattvic food, if we prepare it nicely and we can offer it to the Krishna. If you have a picture of Radha Krishna, you can offer it and you can take it. So this is a very powerful process. You may feel that, how is it possible? Actually, I tell you, this prasadam has transformed the lives of so many people. You can try it yourself, that when you offer food to the Lord, it becomes much more tastier. Right? These gulab jamuns were called as ISKCON bullets. Now, just with gulab jamuns, Srila Prabhupada, he was able to get so many people, attracted, and they were all, they have given up all kind of activities with these prasadam gulab jamuns. So never undermine prasadam. It always works. So you try it. Our mind comes into control with this prasadam. I will explain to you how and why also. And the second part is the medicine. So diet is Krishna Prasad. Second part is medicine. Medicine is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That is what we suggest. So what is a mantra? Meaning of mantra. Mantra is a form of meditation. Mantra. Man plus tra. Mananat trayate iti mantraha. Means by recitation or by repetition of something, what delivers us, that is called as mantra. And as far as we are concerned, we recommend Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because this has been recommended by Lord Brahma in the Kali Santarana Upanishad. Nattah parataropaya sarva vedeshu drishyate iti shodashaka nam Kali kalmashanashanam. So for all the problems that are listed above, Kali kalmashanashanam, they are because of the Kali Yuga, influence of Kali. Because there is an influence of Kali Yuga, people are fighting, they are quarreling. They are not able to stay together. Their mind is not in control. But it is said by Lord Brahma to Narada that if we chant this mantra, Kali Kalmasha Nashanam, 16 words are there. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If we chant this mantra, our mind comes to control, and all the negative effects of Kali Yuga will be completely eradicated. Right? So, and another point is, this is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an incarnation of Radha and Krishna, who was born in West Bengal. And in all his life, he gave only one verse called Shiksha Ashtakam. Shiksha Ashtakam. Shiksha means knowledge, education. Ashtakam means 8 verses. 8 verses, and he taught everything that he wanted to teach the world. In the first verse, he says, Cheto darpana marjanam bhava maha davagni nirvapanam shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidya vadhu jivanam anandambudi vardhanam pratipadam purnamruta swadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna sankirtanam. Anandambudi vardhanam. You see, Ananda means bliss. Sukha is duality. See, Sukha and Dukkha, they are duality. Sometimes you feel happy, sometimes you feel sad. That is duality. It is not really happiness. Ananda means bliss, means anta sukha, antararamo, means something transcendental happiness that is coming from within. That is called as Ananda. And if this Ananda is an ocean, the ocean of happiness that you will get by following this process of chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is Vardhanam. That means it is not just one drop of happiness. So actually, we are all hankering after happiness. So just like a person in a desert, right? You're feeling very thirsty, but I'm giving you 1 drop of water, 10 ml of water. It's not enough. So I'm hankering for more. That's what every living entity is hankering for, that Ananda, that pleasure, right? If we get that pleasure, you'll not look for anything else, right? So that is called as Param Drishtva Nivartate. That means higher taste. If we get the higher taste, the lower taste will go automatically. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, this is compared to an ocean of happiness, which is swelling. So does an ocean swell? Did you see any time an ocean swelling, in size? But this is an ocean that, it is increasing, doubling every day 10 times, right? So that is a kind of bliss. You can see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is dancing in ecstasy of the kirtan, right? So he's crying in ecstasy. Now all his hairs are standing on his skin, and his voice is getting choked up, and he's not sitting and meditating. He's just, dancing. That is when your bliss becomes completely unlimited. You're not able to contain it. You'll just get up and dance. So that is a happiness. Correct? So now, Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhavet Grahyam Indriyai Sevan Mukhi Jivvado Swayameva Spuratyadaha. This is the evidence from the scriptures. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Can anybody volunteer to read this, please?
Hare Krishna. Can I read?
Hare Krishna. Therefore, material senses cannot appreciate Krishna's holy name, form, qualities, and pastimes. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the Lord's holy name and taste the remnants of Lord's food, the tongue is purified and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is.
Hare Krishna. So, it says, Sevan Mukhi Jivvado. Jiva means tongue. It all starts with the tongue. Tongue is the most difficult sense to control. Sharira Vidya Jal Jodhendriya Thayakal Tar Majje Jiva Ati Lobhomai Sudurmati. This tongue is the most difficult sense to control. We can control all the senses, but not the tongue. So this tongue can be controlled, because it wants to eat all kinds of food stuff. It wants to say all kinds of bad words to others, right? This can be controlled by chanting the holy names of Krishna, by tasting the remnants of Lord Krishna. That is prasadam. That's why we said, the formula is diet and medicine. The diet is the Krishna prasadam and the medicine is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That is what been put here. Correct? So now, I'll tell you something now. In closing, we saw Arjuna's all stories, right? What are the stories of Arjuna that we saw? Can anybody remember? What was the first story that we talk about? Arjuna?
In the dark.
How he was practicing in the dark, right? So always Arjuna was praying to Lord Krishna, for mercy. And that's how he was being able to become a good student. And what was the second story that we saw talk about of Arjuna?
Draupadi Swayamvara.
Draupadi Swayamvara. And in the Draupadi Swayamvara, Lord Krishna was personally present. And the water was shaking. And, Krishna, Arjuna is looking at Krishna and Krishna is looking at Arjuna. But they are not talking to each other because, they are incognito, Pandavas. So Arjuna is paying obeisances with his eyes. And he is seeking blessings. And Krishna is giving his blessings through his eyes. And the water on which the reflection is seeing, that water is shaking. So Krishna looks at it and the water stops shaking. Right? So in that also, it is Krishna who is helping it. What was the third one that we said?
It is a fight between
Lord Shiva and
Lord
Arjuna.
Shiva and,
so even
Arjuna.
that, Krishna's mercy, by Krishna's guidance and Krishna's mercy, he goes and fights with Lord Shiva and he satisfies Lord Shiva. And the fourth one was, he was able to control himself so much. Self-control is also possible only by Krishna consciousness. So this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Here, anybody can read. This is such a nectarian verse. Yeah, anybody can read this.
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, please.
Arjuna after Lord Krishna's disappearance. I have the same Gandiva, same arrows as the same chariot drawn by the same horses. And I use them as the same Arjuna to whom all the king offers their due to respect. But in the absence of Lord Krishna, all of them at a moment's notice have become null and void. It is exactly like offering clarified butter on ashes, accumulating money with a magic wand or sowing seed on barren land. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.15.21.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So, the scene is, this is from Srimad Bhagavatam. So what happens is, Lord Krishna disappears from this planet and he goes back to his eternal abode, Golok Vrindavan. So after he leaves that, what happens is, Arjuna goes to meet Krishna in Dwarka. He doesn't know that, Krishna has left this material world to his abode. So when he goes there, there is a challenge or there is a fight that happens with cowherd men. So there are some cowherd men, they don't even have some weapons. They have some sticks in their hands, right? And they challenge Arjuna, come fight with us. And Arjuna has got the Gandiva bow. He's a great person, right? We have seen his greatness. And he starts fighting, and he is defeated. He's defeated by the cowherd men who don't even have weapons. With sticks, he's getting defeated. So that time, he comes back to the Pandavas and he tells his realization. He tells to his elder brother, Yudhishthir Maharaj, I have the same Gandiva bow. Now also I have the same bow. The same arrows are there. The same chariot which I have used are there. I am the same Arjuna. But in the absence of Lord Krishna, everything became null and void in a moment's notice. It is like offering clarified butter on ashes or accumulating money with the magic. So if you when you have to do fire sacrifice, you have to put butter, right? That is the ghee in the fire, right? But if there is no fire, only ashes are there. What is the use? If from some magicians, they create some kind of money for temporarily. So if that is it real money? Now, what is the use of putting seeds on a barren land, right? So it's useless. So that's like So what is your realization after hearing this verse?
When we don't have Krishna or Krishna consciousness in our life, whatever we accumulate or whatever support we have, it is all useless.
Yes, anybody else want to
Without a
share?
spiritual master, we can't do anything.
Without the mercy of spiritual master, we cannot achieve anything, right?
And Hare Krishna, there's one more sloka also, right? Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, yatra Partho Darvada, Tatra Shri Vijaya, something, I forgot the remaining sense. Wherever there is Arjuna, wherever there is Krishna, there is bound to be victory.
Tatra Shri Vijayor Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, that's my perception that wherever there is Krishna, there is victory.
Yes.
Means
Wherever there is Krishna, the master of the mystics, and Arjuna, the great holder of the Gandiva bow, there'll be Lakshmi, and there'll be morality, right? And there'll be success, there'll be victory, right? So this is what is Bhagavad Gita, right? So we have the solution with us. So basically, I tell you, so we are doing a batch called Gita Gyan. So it's already running right now. We are doing the 8th batch of Gita Gyan, 18 chapters in 18 days. So there's an ongoing batch that is almost coming to an end. And we are doing the Gita Gyan 9 registration, which is starting on the 21st of November. So I'll just put the link here. So you can register yourself here for this. This is starting on 21st November. So you can give this link to your friends and family and register for this. What we do here is 18 chapters in 18 days. So in 1 hour a day, it's a free course. And we explain in a nutshell what is like Bhagavad Gita. Did you get my chat message? Okay, sorry. Yeah, now. This is the registration link, right? Yeah. So this is the registration link that we have. And that's about it. Yeah. Any question and answers with respect to today's topic, or any points that you want to add?
Prabhuji, I have a question here.
Please,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
I heard like Krishna is the center controller, not only for the four-headed Brahma, for innumerous headed Brahmas, 100-headed, 1,000-headed, etc. Right? So, is the same Gita applicable in those universes as well? Or because I'm not sure the kind of dharma here existing that maybe differ in the other worlds, in the other headed Brahma's universe. The dharma may be different. So is this the same Gita and Bhagavatam exists in other universes as well?
Okay, nice question. But I think that, it's the same dharma that exists in all the universe, all of the universe, because Krishna says this is like the universal dharma. He says that, I am running these 3 worlds with the help of this Bhagavad Gita. So if he's running the 3 worlds with the same Bhagavad Gita, so it must be the same textbook, all over the world. Of course, in the Hollywood movie, they want to imagine that, there are some aliens who are different, etc. This is just an imagination. That's not true. If there is any life anywhere, they're subject to the same 3 modes of material nature, the same Maya. They will be running behind the same money, right? In the same, same kind of problems. I don't think it will be something else.
Okay.
They'll not be
Thank
better
you,
or worse people than us. They'll be same as us. Right. Hare
Thanks. Hare Krishna.
Right. Any other questions?
Where will be the recording available?
Yeah, recording I can send you on a private message. Maybe if I post it on YouTube or something, also I'll give you the link.
Sure.
Yeah. Any other questions? So, yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Please tell me.
Okay, Prabhu, I have a small question.
Sure, sure.
See, as we know, like the mind is the biggest enemy for us. So sometimes what happens, like in the anger, we speak what we should not speak, or we do what we should not do. But later, anyways, we know that we are the wrong, or we know that the things are wrong from our end. So at that moment, how to control, Prabhu?
So, yeah, anger is actually caused because of Rajoguna. Krishna says, Kama yesha krodha yesha rajoguna samudbhavaha. So, if Rajoguna or the mode of passion reduces in us, then we will be able to control our anger better, actually. So then the question should be how to reduce our mode of passion. Okay. So the technical way of reducing the mode of passion is by reading Srimad Bhagavatam. By hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, it says Tada Rajastamo Bhava Kama Lobha Yaschaye. So this Rajastamo gunas will reduce by hearing the Lord's story in Srimad Bhagavatam. So if we repeatedly hear Srimad Bhagavatam, this mode of passion will come to control and will be established in mode of goodness as a first step. And of course, if we continue reading, we'll go to the mode of transcendental goodness, Shuddha Sattva Guna. So that is like on a platform of liberation. So, but at least to begin with, our mode of passion will reduce and definitely we'll be able to control our anger.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, this what you told about the diet, sattvic food and offered to Lord and then taken. Of course, we have to. There are certain foods, ahara vihara is there where certain foods are not supposed to be taken and consumed. Those things will actually increase our raga and dvesha. So if we take a sattvic food itself, a lot of our chemical body conditions will change. And that again will drive us to being sattvic in our actions and speech, everything. Anger is what I heard, and I think I'm personally experiencing it also. Hare Krishna.
Okay, much. Thank you. Any other questions?
Prabhuji, can you explain more on how Krishna Prasadam can help us in becoming more better in our life? I mean, just a few minutes would be good.
Sure. Nice question. So what happens is, like, we are talking about, sometimes some people, we talk about vegetarian food, but we are talking about Krishnatarian food. Krishnatarian food means when you offer the food to Lord Krishna, it becomes remnants. So remnants means, for example, let us say if I give food to, let's say a small child and, he's eating and I take that food and I'm eating that is called remnants, juta. And that's what they say in Hindi, right? So when you eat juta of another person, you get the qualities of the other person. And my sinful reactions will be transferred to that person whose juta I am taking. So this is the technical reason. So that means if you're taking Lord's juta, so we should not take juta of anybody actually. But we are here recommending take the juta of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Parabrahman, absolute truth. So we will get his nature. So his qualities are that he is very tolerant. Right? When Bhrigu Maharshi came and kicked on his chest, right? He is tolerating, right? And he is massaging the feet of Bhrigu Maharshi. He is not getting angry and he is not cursing him. So that is the tolerance level of Lord Shri Krishna. So we will get the same tolerance by, our mind will come to the same control. He is the most controlled, self-controlled person, and he is the Yogeshwara, right? He is the Tatra Yogeshwara Krishna. He is the master of all the mystics. And he is the deliverer of this Bhagavad Gita. Then you can understand how much mind control he must be having, Lord Krishna, right? He is the topmost mind controller. If his mind is under full control. So by eating prasadam, what happens? Our mind, we will get such qualities. Slowly it will develop in us. That's why it's called prasada. Prasada means mercy, right? Actual technical meaning means mercy. Prasade sarva dukkhanam. There is a verse in Bhagavad Gita that says prasade sarva dukkhanam. Means by my mercy, all the miseries will be removed. So this prasadam or the food form, that is a remnant form of Krishna that he has taken and I'm taking. What happens by taking remnants of Krishna is we can fight Maya. We can effectively fight Maya. Maya will be gone if we eat the remnants of Krishna. That is the actually technical answer. Hare Krishna. Is that okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna Prabhuji,
Yes, Hare
according to our Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam, food that is not offered to him and without offering, if we take, it is as good as poison. It is not at all worthy enough to be eaten at all if it is not offered. So it has to be offered, only then to be taken. So automatically this kind of conditioned thing is very good. Automatically we are going to get all the nutrition in the world. I mean, all the mental strength, physical strength, everything with the prasadam. That's one, I mean, it's a package deal sort of thing. We get everything and we'll become a sattvic person, good person. We won't be angry. We won't have any control over the mind, desire. I think that's the best thing to offer. Prasadam is the best thing on earth.
Yeah, I'll tell you one other story. Interesting thing. So one day there was a king. His king suddenly started getting a feeling that I want to kill somebody. I want to kill somebody. Then he asked, he brought the cook and asked, who has cooked this food? And the cook came and he said, are you planning to kill somebody? The cook admits that, actually, I want to kill you. I'm so angry on you. I want to kill you. That's why I was thinking like that. With that consciousness, I'm preparing the food. And whatever consciousness that you're putting is going inside the food. That is why mother's food is the best food. Why? Mother is always wishing well for children, right? So similarly, that consciousness enters into the food. Similarly, when you offer it to the Lord and take it, that consciousness comes inside the head. Okay. Anybody wants, somebody wanted to add something? Abhay sir, yes, please.
Yes, how
when we cook
significant-
itself, all the women can say Hare Krishna mantra and cook. Then it is, double.
Yeah, it'll be still more better.
Like,
Yeah, if we can,
cooking
chant the Lord's names and then cook it, still better.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what
Yes.
is the best thing. Mind is very good, and extra powers will go into the food itself. So all the positivity will be in that. And then it is offered, then it is, I think it's nectar.
Absolutely. Yes.
Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Yes. Abhay sir, please ask.
Yes. Will you please explain how significant the role of Namasmarana in controlling the thoughts?
Can you come again? Sorry, what was that?
Will you please explain how significant the role of Namasmarana in controlling the thoughts?
In controlling the mind.
Yeah.
So actually, there's a lot of things that we can talk about it. It's like it's a big subject in itself. Telling about the glories of chanting the holy names of Krishna. So basically, brings us complete mind control. Just to tell you one simple example, we all know this story. I'm just connecting it. The story of Valmiki. Before he was a dacoit, right? And he used to kill. He was a hunter and he used to kill all the animals. So all Narada came and he gave this simple mantra. Just said, say Rama, chant the names of the Lord. So he says, I cannot chant Rama. He says, okay, you chant Mara. So he just keeps on chanting Mara, Mara, Mara. And we see that, how he has transformed from a dacoit to a saint, right? That's like, that's the story we all know. So that's what I mean. It's a proof on not only that, if we also actually start chanting, we can, see it for ourselves, how it is transforming us. Or if you ask me like logically, how it basically works is like this, that by heating an iron rod, it becomes red hot and it will get the qualities of the fire. It will become as good as fire. Is it not? Yeah. Like that, by chanting the names of Krishna, the name of Krishna and Krishna himself, it is non-different. Krishna and Krishna's name are non-different. But that is because he is absolute truth. But when we talk about the relative world ourselves, if we say water, let's say I'm feeling thirsty. If I say water, water, my thirst won't get quenched, right?
Yes.
Yes. But if we say Krishna, Krishna, it is as good as just associating directly with Krishna. So his name and person is non-different completely.
Sure.
Yeah. So by chanting his names, what happens is we are adding that spiritual fire. We are associating with Krishna. It is as good as, I'm with Krishna, like that. So by constant chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we get the qualities of Lord Krishna and we get mind control automatically. Like
Yes, yes. Thank you.
But
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, it is it has to be experienced to, like how we say sugar is sweet. Unless you taste it, you will not get it. So same way, if you chant for just because Prabhuji has told, we'll just chant. If somebody chants, automatically we will realize the difference. It is, we are able to control so many things. We control ourselves. It is personal experience, but one has to do it. Then you will experience it yourself. This is what I feel.
Yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
1 minute.
Yes.
Just want to share my comment, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, sir. Yes, Prabhu.
Take just 1 minute. Prabhuji, I don't know whether I should share this in this group or not, but still I'll just share with my, after this I thought of sharing it. See, I was in a project for 2 years and all of a sudden the ramp down happened, and the day I came to the time I've been asked to move out of the project. The whole day I was completely dull, Prabhuji. I mean, I'm chanting Hare Krishna mantra since 12 years, Prabhuji. It happened just 1 week back. So on that day, it was like my condition was as good as Arjuna only. Like I was totally dull, not able to get up from the bed, also not able to get up from the chair. What should I do? What should I do? What is the next project? How do I get to the next project? Like so many thoughts came to my mind. How do I control this mind, Prabhu? Because I've been 12 years I've been chanting, but still the strength has not come to me to handle such situations.
Sometimes, Prabhu, it is the mind is, we have to let it be whatever it is, right? So we don't have to try to be something which we are not, right? So we should not stretch it, just try to, because see, the nature of mind is to react, is it not? The nature of mind is to lament and etc. And the more spiritual we become, the more powerful it becomes. But it's a long process and it's a natural process. It's like a gradual process. So sometimes I think we should not be over demanding with the mind also. If we are trying to be very demanding with our mind, then again, it is the mind only that is actually playing us, isn't it? It is the mind that is actually criticizing our own mind. Is it not? So, but instead, if we just take it as it is, take things as it is. Okay, I'm not able to control the mind. It's okay. Just leave it. That's what Krishna says. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha gruhyate. By practice and detachment. So maybe you can try a little bit of detachment. Detaching yourself from trying to control your mind, little bit of detachment with the mind. That should be helpful, I think. We can try that.
Okay. Actually, I was not able to chant in 1 round that day. So that was the condition of my mind. Generally, sometimes I get more time, I chant 20 rounds also. But that and 1 round, whole day I could not chant 1 round.
But I think, it's normal, Prabhu. Sometimes some natural incidents are normal. See, Arjuna also, when something happens in the Mahabharata war and when Abhimanyu died, he was disturbed, right? So even Bhishma Pitamaha, he was disturbed. This is all natural. Whatever is natural, we are not saying that we should artificially try to become a robot and completely emotionless. That's not the goal. But just that, to a large extent, it will help us. That is the main idea. But if we become completely emotionless and completely like a stone, then that is actually the opposite of what we are trying to achieve, is it not? So these are all natural feelings. For example, when Ravana died, Vibhishana cried. So nobody came and criticized him. Why are you crying? Like that. So it's a natural feeling, right? So when loss of some professional kind of a thing is naturally something that causes grief to our mind. So we should just give it some time. That's it, I think. So
Prabhuji, can we also think in this direction? Like maybe because of our past karmas, the impressions are very strong that it is taking a lot of time for us to come out of this thing. Is that true thinking?
Absolutely, that is there. Our past karmas are very strong and our mind is got such a strong thing. But first thing that we have to understand, 13th chapter, one thing that I found very powerful recently was 13th chapter, Lord Krishna says that, everything, including the mind, intelligence, and false ego, is material nature. It is not the soul. So even my mind is not me. So the thoughts of mind are not mine. Then why I should be bothered? I found that very powerful and very enlightening, actually. So if I'm actually thinking that, even my mind is a product of me, or like I'm thinking this thought is mine. But if I just renounce that and say this mind is given by the material nature, bhumirapo na lova yukhamano buddhi revacha, it is given by Lord Krishna and it is come with the body. So why should I be bothering about it? I will not bother about whatever thought comes in my mind. So that is also, one way of getting a lot of peace of mind.
Okay. Hare Krishna,
And
Prabhuji. Thank you.
one thing is, if we don't get something like whether like a job or a project or whatever, if we go into this cycle of chanting and all that, then we'll realize that definitely God has got something more special for us coming. This is only an intermediate period where it passes. Nothing is constant. It passes, and then something better is definitely He's got better in store for us. Only thing we have to have patience. Der hai andher nahi hai. It's what they say in
Hindi.
Hindi.
Yeah, definitely past karma is there, and we just have to wait for it to pass. So that's what Krishna says, no? Tolerate, learn to tolerate summer and winter. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkada agama payino nityaha tam sitikshasva bharata. Learn to tolerate. The happiness, this duality of happiness and sadness is actually like passing seasons of summer and winter. Just learn to tolerate. He says to Arjuna. So Krishna doesn't give an answer. He says, learn to tolerate it. Just tolerate this, you just have to tolerate that phase. That's it. Right? Because summer will be there. Winter will be there. After summer, winter will come. After winter, summer will come. So this is duality that's going on. We can't stop summer and winter. We just have to learn to tolerate. Right. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Hare Krishna. Yes. Yes. Thank you very much. Very wonderful discussion. Hare Krishna. Ayukshi, you want to say something? Very wonderful discussion that we had today. Very nice audience. Very nice engaging questions. Yes. I don't know. I'm not able to hear you properly.
Are you able to hear me, Prabhuji?
It's a little better. Please come closer to the mic. Take mouthpiece. Yeah.
I thought I have a issue like I'm not able to control my anger. So maybe this session would help me a lot in that.
Yes.
It is like I reacted to the situation very, very quickly. But after that, sometimes I realized that I should have not reacted in such a way. So this would help me in controlling my thoughts, controlling my emotions. And Prabhuji, when that 18th session is going to start, Prabhuji?
Starting on November
21st
of November. Registration link, I have put it here. I'll put it once more here. I'm just putting this registration link here. Yes, please tell me.
Okay. And in which language would it be? Prabhuji?
There are
Because
6 languages we are doing this. 6 languages. Okay. English, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, and Odia. These are the 6 languages that we are doing. Maybe if we have language, some other registrations, we may do more languages also, based on the number of registrations.
Who understand only Hindi, so I would like to share this with them. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Sure, please go ahead. Thank you. Yes, thank
Prabhuji,
you very
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Yesterday we didn't have Bhagavatam, but then I was very happy that we had in hospital we had a satsang, ISKCON satsang by Ishwar Puri Das. It was, so we were thinking there was no class, but still we had something to do with, and we chanted a whole mala for some 20 minutes. Good, we enjoyed it. Then nice. I was made up. I was missing your class when we made it up. Thank you.
That's nice.
Thanks,
That's nice.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you very much. We'll try to come back again. So maybe next Sunday we'll come back again with another interesting topic, very relevant to all of us. And we'll see, how we can connect with our spirituality, right? So because spirituality is like a fish in the water, right? Now a fish, if you take it out of water, it cannot live, right? So spirituality is like integrated in our lifestyle. That is the Sanatana Dharma beauty, that, it is a part of everything. Everything is interrelated. So if we remove ourselves from spirituality, then like how Krishna says, Nasti buddhir ayuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana. And ashantasya kuta sukham. So we cannot get peace of mind without spirituality. We can never be happy also without spirituality. Okay. With this note, I would like to conclude. Thank you very much for joining. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare.
Hare Hare.
Thank you very much.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
Monday class at 3:30. I'm just reminding.